Welcome to Powering Success, future-proofing your generator company, the go-to podcast for industry leaders in the generator installation and service business. Here we dive into the strategies and innovations that keep your company ahead of the competition and bring you insights from top experts and successful entrepreneurs. Let's get started and power up your potential. Now here's your host, marketing guru John Tedesco.
Today's guest is someone who knows the backup business inside and out. Scott is the founder of Specialized Power Services, better known as SPS, based in Michigan. What started as an industrial electrical career turned into a thriving generator company. It's helping homeowners and businesses stay powered up when it matters most. From ice storms to EV chargers, Scott and his team are known for their great communication, fair pricing, and top-tier installation. So we're going to hear how SPS got started, what sets them apart, and what advice Scott has for anyone thinking about growing a generator business. Let's get into it. Hey, Scott, how are you?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Awesome. Cool. All right. So do me a favor, introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about what SPS is all about.
I'm Scott Douglas. I'm the president of Specialized Power Services. I started the company in 2007 with basically a group of customers I worked for begging me to go on my own. And at that time, really the only thing in the industry I was doing was high voltage cable splicing and electrical testing and commissioning. And I did it on a whim and, it turned out pretty well. And since got out of that industrial business and started doing generators in 2009, just to fill in time when the industrial sector fell out. And now that's all we do is home standby generators and small business generators.
Wow. You started back in 2007. When would you say you got into generators?
Well, generators I got into in 2009, 2008, 2009, just doing a few a year, just
Yeah.
fill in work when, steel mills were barely idling and
Hmm.
car plants weren't spending any money or oil refineries, whatnot. And then I just stopped doing the high voltage cable splicing like maybe 3 years ago.
Hmm. Okay. What were you doing before SPS kind of shifted to generators? So like maybe before 2007.
Um, just high voltage cable splicing, electrical commissioning. So I was always hired by other electrical contractors to do specialty work.
I see. I see. And now you're 100% into generators and electrical. And um, so what challenges do you face now, kind of trying to reinvent your business or just staying into it? I mean, I guess looking back, wish you had just known this in all those early years.
Um, I'm not sure about that, but challenges, I mean, nothing's been a big challenge besides this spring. Like the whole market, I think, has really took a hit this spring,
Hmm.
and this is the slowest we've been in quite a while. Hence hiring you because we really have never even done marketing or advertising. Everything's just word of mouth and referral and things like that. But it's a good business to be in. It's a lot easier on my body than working with 1,000 pounds of whatever
Sure.
in the industrial sector.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Okay. So, all right. So we're hoping to see some big changes in the business. What do you see currently in the industry like right now? Like, what do most homeowners would you say, get wrong about backup power? What are maybe some of the misconceptions?
Then anybody can do it for them. That's the biggest. A
Hmm.
big part of our business is going in after other contractors and fixing the install mistakes and why the generator won't run. Maybe they're selling one too small. A lot of times it's fuel installations that are done wrong.
Hmm.
And you can tell people until you're blue in the face, but all they're looking at is the bottom dollar, and that's not how you should shop for investment you're putting in your home or business
Yeah. So you see that a lot when you go out to service a generator that you didn't install, and do you have to
all the time,
reinstall
all
and
the
rebuild?
time.
Wow.
I
Oh,
mean, yeah, we have to move them because they put them right by fresh air intakes or vents or windows or doors or, you know, it's not just because somebody's an electrician doesn't mean they should be installing generators.
yeah, sure. Sure. And walk me through a typical installation day. Like what's your company's process, your team's process?
Well, trial and error. I don't know if what we do is the best, but it works the best for us. Um, typically somebody contacts us and then our sales manager, Mark, goes out or, we give them the choice of virtual or in person.
Hmm.
Some people don't want you at their house. They just want the virtual and we'll tell them virtuals with 5%, but, if you want to move forward, we got to go out and, actually measure the wire and gas lengths and get you, solid
Right.
parts. But after that point, we take a deposit and get a signed contract from the customer. Generally get them on the ball of upgrading their gas meter for their home or business. Because 90% of the time you need a new gas meter when you get a home standby generator.
Mm-hmm.
And then we generally go out and set multiple pads in a day. And then our plumbers go out and plumb them all in, get inspected. So that way when we come out to do the final install at the generator, it's running when we leave. And I think the reason we do that is so the plumbers and electricians aren't tripping over each other on an install. And also, when we used to do them on the same day, you can't turn it on that day because you have to have a gas pressure test. And
Yeah.
it's happened a few times where we get that there, do the install, and then they lose power that day with a generator sitting there they can't use.
Yeah,
And
because you
then
haven't.
went
Yeah.
over well.
Mhm. All right. So, and what do the typical customers look like? These are just residential homeowners.
For the most part, yeah.
Okay. And you had mentioned you do virtual versus an in-person. If you do an in-person, they'll save money.
No, I mean the price is gonna be the same either way.
Oh, okay. I thought I heard something with a 5% or something like that.
No, the virtual quote, the first quote we give them without going out and actual doing measurements is within 5%.
Ah, got
of-
it. Got it. Okay. So, and if it's in their ballpark, you'll then schedule
Yeah,
that appointment and go out and visit them. How far
yes.
out will you guys go?
It all depends. Generally about 50-mile radius,
Okay.
but it all depends. We'll go further north, south, and west than we will east.
Yeah, and I think you had mentioned back in the past that not a lot of people finance the generators. They're just kind of
Yeah, I'd
it's
say
a
we're
small
less than
percentage.
10% of our jobs are financed.
Hmm.
I think it's just our area. Because you go to other areas, different states and that, it seems like some of the people I talk to are 90% financed.
Yeah, we haven't heard too much of that. That's interesting though. I wouldn't finance it either, but it's a lot of money. It could be 14, $15,000.
Yeah.
Is that like your average 15 grand?
Probably 13
13?
average, 13.5 maybe.
Okay. How many technicians you got on your team?
Trained Generac technicians, we have one, two, three, four, five.
Okay. So what makes a great generator technician in your opinion?
Generally not an electrician.
Generally not.
I mean, I'm an electrician. I'm not bashing electricians by any means, but mechanics. Like my head tech is motorsports and
Okay.
like tractor, like engine and
Yeah.
motor state, like a mechanic.
Right. Right.
And those to me, from what I've seen, make the best generator technicians.
Okay. So they're not electricians. Being an electrician gives you maybe a false sense of security in installing a generator. Is that?
Yeah, it's just like electricians go with generators for some reason. I mean, yeah, part of it's electrical, but working on a generator itself, I mean, there's wiring and stuff in them, but the main nuts and bolts to it's the engine, rotor stator, mechanical parts.
Sure. Yeah, I guess they think that that whole unit, all it has to do is just plug into the house. But if you don't know the nuances of how the engine operates, then you could probably mess it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. All right, so local focus. So what makes Michigan, specifically, I guess Brighton and Ann Arbor areas, unique in terms of a generator demand?
Well, from info that I've got from manufacturers, Generac, Bergen Stratton, whoever, um, Michigan is one of the most steady states in the country for sales. But it seems like we haven't had storms up here, and we had little ones, but no big ones for like a year and a half. And I think that might be part of our
Hmm.
slowdown a little bit and, change of regime in Washington and everything else. But Michigan's pretty steady. I mean, we don't have like natural disasters like they do on the East Coast or South or
Yeah,
earthquakes out west. Like when that stuff happens in those areas, that's a mass flooding of the products. Where here
yeah.
it's just continuous, steady.
So it's just based on power outages and just on a
Yep.
regular basis. Um,
Yeah, we have one of the older grids here.
oh, okay, all right. So you got an old grid, and that could help. Yeah, we have clients out on the West Coast that are dealing with power shutoffs. So the state is actually shutting down power for a few days because
Yeah,
it gets to to avoid fires and all this other stuff. Um, and then that's when their busy season comes around.
yeah.
Interesting that weather doesn't typically influence your workload through the year. It's more just your old grid and just time.
Oh yeah, I mean we do. If we get a good 4 to 7 day power outage, then things go crazy. But
Hmm. I see. When was the last time you had that?
February 24, so it's been a while.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So your customer experience. So your customers say your team is incredibly easy to work with. What's your secret with that end of things?
Well, that's like when I hired my sales manager, Mark. We're not trying to think how to put it. We're not sales focused in the manner of typical sales. Like we don't push anything. People call us, they're calling us because they know what they want, right?
Hmm.
And basically we're just here to give them all the information they need and let them make an educated decision. And I, think most of the customers respect that. Nobody's trying to push anything or down their throat or upgrade anything. Just give them all the information, and people are smart enough to make their own decisions in that.
Yeah.
And most of the, and like if they get 3, 4 quotes, it's generally 90% of the time they like us open and honesty better than whoever else went in there.
Yeah. Sure. Sure. Like anybody, like anything else. Just doing good business. That's
Yeah.
basically um, what it comes down to. All right, so tell me a little bit about your marketing though. Value pack coupons, social media, beyond that, what have you felt has worked in the past? What has not worked in the past?
Like I said, we've never done a ton of advertising. Yeah, we do like the Val Pack, it's the little monthly envelope that comes out like 40, 50 different single sheet advertisements in it. I
Yeah,
mean that we've been doing that for a few years now, and that works pretty good. We used to do a couple other like little magazines and stuff. I don't think any of those really
yeah.
went too well.
Hmm.
And we just got in with you doing, like the Google ads and Facebook advertising and stuff like that. And we're still working on that.
Yeah,
But yeah, just getting our name out there so people repeatedly see it. And that was a good move, I think, going with your company and trying this avenue.
yeah. I appreciate that. Yeah, and we're working on a bunch of different channels for that. So, what would you say though? Is your feeling like in the past, mostly people just kicking rocks and, kicking tires rather, and just kind of looking for pricing and kind of just falling flat or ghosting you after getting an estimate?
Yeah, it seems like it used to be worse than it is now. But I mean, we still get the ones, well, people had no idea what it was cost, or I think Generac kind of stopped the commercials like starting at $1,900, which was a little 7 kW generator, and that was just for the generator. And people thought that was like what it cost to get it installed. And
Yeah.
I think they stopped that advertising, hopefully, because it
Yeah,
wasn't
right.
good for anybody.
I guess. Well, it's good that you're seeing better retention in that regard. A lot of people have trouble. The leads come in and they reach out and they don't respond, or even after sending the estimate, they're not following through, or and that becomes more of a constant, a constant play. So you kind of need salespeople in place for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. And how about your competitions? How would you say SPS stands apart, now or even before now, from your competitors?
Um, I think it's just customer service is the biggest thing. I mean, because that's what the feedback we get from our customers, people that have left other companies, or even just from our sales call compared to somebody else's sales call, is
Yeah.
just, you know, no rush, no push, no just courtesy, being kind to people.
Yeah, and you feel that maybe bring builds a large referral based business?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
We get a lot of our businesses referrals.
Are there any projects that you turn down?
Yeah, we turn down projects here and there. Just if we feel customer's not a good fit for us, or sometimes you just get that feeling like this isn't going to end well
Yeah.
with somebody, and I tell Mark it's no money's worth the headache down the road.
Yeah, for sure.
Sometimes you just got to walk away.
Yeah, it's good that you can even see that. I guess that comes with experience, being able to kind of see that ahead of time.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm. So what's been the most difficult part of growing your business?
Um, Growing is finding reliable employees that'll fit in with the ones we have currently. That's
Mm.
the hardest challenge. We were
How do
looking to
you
expand
find?
last fall, and just people just I don't know, ever since COVID, people are different. People are
Wow.
looking for stay-at-home jobs and lazy jobs, and it's a real challenge.
Yeah. How do do you have any particular way of getting new help, new technicians or anything like that?
Um, I've not found anything that's great for it, but we've tried everything from Indeed, ZipRecruiter, Generac's got a hiring dealer talent network. Um,
Hmm.
I mean, we're not looking right now because it's a little slower, but that looks like that could be promising, that the Generac dealer talent network.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have to do a lot of training when these guys come on board?
Um, we've been lucky with the people we have, or like anybody we hire, we're going to send them to Generac to their service school and stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay. So you guys use NetSuite. How has adopting that changed how you run things?
We're still adopting. I mean, it's there's a lot to it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's helped our business tremendously switching from like 4 or 5 different softwares to one, because then you don't have all the breakdowns between different softwares and things like that. But it's pretty much endless what you can do with it.
Yeah, we know. Yeah, there's so many different pieces of software that does different things, and it's hard to actually find software that does one solid thing, that does everything, you know. We know that from the marketing end of things. It just doesn't work that way. Um, and you have to be, it's not like back in the day where you could just use a spreadsheet or a notepad or anything like that. It has to be, you have to use all these different softwares for marketing, for tracking, for finances, for even for setting up estimates and everything like that. So,
That's it. I mean, we can do everything, all that right in NetSuite.
right, right. And you have a CSR team, answers the calls, sets up the estimates, reaches out to your technicians.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. What's one system or habit that kind of keeps your business on track? Do you implement like EOS or anything like that into your company, or do you have standard regular meetings, things like that?
Um, no, not really. I mean, like I said, the team I got is we're pretty self-sufficient and you know everything runs pretty smooth for as far as a business standpoint.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. Um, okay. Now your brand. So you're a Generac dealer. Did you choose that brand, or did they just make it easy for you? What do you think about Briggs and Stratton or Winco?
Well, we're a dealer for all three.
Hmm.
We probably only buy one Briggs and Stratton a year. Winco, I can't remember last time I bought a Winco generator, but like if somebody came in and wanted a PTO generator
Yeah,
or something like that, or had a spray foam truck that needed a generator for the, because they Winco makes like air compressor generator combination. I mean, they make very specific units for specific industries and stuff like that. Like
right.
they're all three are best at different things.
Yeah,
I mean, the home standby market though, Generac, they dominate it.
yeah, sure. You why don't you work with Kohler or Cummins?
We used to be a Kohler dealer, just as a company and personally, I won't put my name on them.
Okay, all right. We don't have to get into too many
I
details
didn't
with.
like their business models. Both of them you had to buy through a competitor,
Oh, I
and
see.
it wouldn't sell direct. They do now, but
Yeah,
too little, too late.
right. I see. I see. A little soured that whole thing. Do you go to the Generac conventions every year?
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, that's good. I know they have good product. I mean, you can't really go wrong nowadays with good product. It's all pretty good. Um, does what it needs to be doing. The technology is really advanced. Do you see anything on the horizon? Like, do you see anything wrong with any of these units or machines or anything that they can improve?
I mean, they all have a little bit of quality control that they can take care of a little better, but
Hmm.
I think Generac's in the process of redesigning a lot of their stuff right now for this fall, which looks promising. Never know until you get it in your hands, though.
Yeah, sure, sure. Okay. Yeah, nice. All right. So growth and future, you've talked about, wanting to expand. What's your dream team setup?
It's probably not much bigger than where we are now. Um, Probably another install crew and maybe another tech or two would probably be the largest we would probably grow,
Hmm.
where it's still like, you know, manageable, profitable, and small group people is easier to take care of. Once you get too big, then it's hard to take care of all your employees the same.
Yeah, right, right. Okay. If you can go back and give yourself one piece of advice in 2007, what would that be?
Tough to say. What to do with generators at that point. I
Yeah,
mean, I worked on generators, but they're,
probably just be invest in Apple.
I don't know what else I could tell myself that would do anything.
Yeah, yeah, I get it. I get it. All right.
It's not an easy path, probably
Yeah,
not for everybody.
I get it. And what how about this? What piece of advice would you give a new somebody new that in the generator dealer industry that would want to start up their business?
Better talk to your wife first because it's gonna, time you're gonna have to put in, it's probably more than a child and should withstand that.
Yeah, especially if you're doing the installations yourself and, servicing that kind of thing.
Uh, Financially, anyways.
Hmm. Okay. Are you breaking up a little bit, Scott? I don't know if
I
it's
mean,
if it's my internet or yours. A little choppy. It's a little choppy.
yeah, I've seen that.
Okay. All right, let me see where I'm at here. Okay. Ice storms or thunderstorms? Which drives more calls?
Ice storms.
Right. The
That
worst
was
placement you've.
that was that
I'm sorry. Go
is
ahead. Repeat that for me.
I said that was what last February was like that 6.5 to 10 day power outage. That was ice storms. I mean, there was a half inch of ice hanging from every power line, tree, branch.
10 days. Yeah. Last time I did 10 days without power, it was Hurricane Sandy, maybe 12 years ago.
Yeah, that was a nasty one.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What's the worst placement you've seen for a generator?
And inside people's houses, like garages or stuff like that. Like there's one we went to that it's a cement pit in his backyard, which, I guess isn't dangerous, but you don't have your clearances. I mean, you can go on and on about bad placements, but put them in your garage or basement or something like that. That's no, don't do it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Best compliment you've ever gotten from a customer?
Ooh, I don't know what the best one would be. I mean, just the other day we got done with an install and husband and wife both thanked us that the whole process was incredible. And by the time I got back to the shop, they already left us a 5-star Google review. I think that was
Uh,
last Thursday.
yeah, well, those Google reviews are important, so we want to make sure those keep coming in. Um,
Those are hard to get. A lot of people say they'll do them, but getting them to actually do them is hard.
yeah, right. I know it. I know it. Um, so what do you love most about doing this work?
Today, um, my 21-year-old son works with me and generally we work together every day. That I think that's today, and today that's probably the best part. Getting him, teaching him, getting him up to speed, and it's very enjoyable working with my son.
Yeah, nice. Keep it in the family. Yeah, that's great. Yeah. Let's see. Is there any other questions you think like maybe I forgot or missed?
No, because I didn't know what your agenda was.
Oh, we covered it. We covered everything. Ideally, I wanted to maybe even track back even
Yeah.
before you got started. Kind of what's your personal background? Kind of where did you start building this business?
Well, my dad was an electrician. My brother is an electrician. I used to go to work with my dad on Saturdays when I was a little kid. Um, you know, he'd have me clean up the break rooms, this, that, the other. I mean, when I was little, and so I've been going to jobs since I've been a little kid. And high school, I worked at the shop my dad worked at in the summers in between, high school years. And when I got my license, I drove delivery truck for them. So I started out, as a shop person and delivering parts and that. And, back in, mid 90s, I got organized into Local 58, Detroit's IBEW, and I've been a union electrician ever since.
Wow. Okay. And when your dad and your brother were electricians, they didn't have their own businesses.
Nope.
Just had to break out on your own.
Yeah, like I said, I was doing the high voltage cable splicing, and a lot of the customers just kept bugging me to start my own. They just wanted to deal
Hmm.
with me. And
Okay.
I guess that was enough. Well, hey, if I know I have business going into it,
Yeah. Well,
um,
that's the big question is can your business survive without you?
yeah.
You want to make sure that
So,
it can.
oh yeah.
Okay. All right. I think I got it all. How about anything in addition to the generators, backup battery backup power, solar, any of that?
No, we don't do any solar. We'll do the battery backup, but really haven't done much of any of it. Um, it's kind of pricey too.
Yeah.
Like me, I thought about doing it here, but it'd just be for show. Do I really want it? No.
It's a big push on the West Coast, and I used to have a client in
Massachusetts
Massachusetts.
too. Yeah.
Massachusetts has a big state incentive for battery backup.
Yeah, I got a buddy that owns a business just like mine in Boston, and yeah, they got to build net zero and everything, and
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it turns a $60,000 project into like a 15 or $20,000 project. Yeah, and then on
Yeah,
the
so
West
basically we
Coast
just
too.
do generators, EV chargers. We'll do small electrical stuff for our generator customers only.
Yeah.
But if somebody calls us just for electrical, generally no.
How about
You
commercial
know.
work? Tell me about your commercial work.
I mean, today it's just generators. That's it. I mean, my
Yeah.
background started in commercial, like hospitals and office buildings and stuff like that.
Hmm.
But I've done commercial electrical work in quite a few years, besides generators.
Yeah. Yeah.
We just don't have a team to do like big commercial work.
Yeah, and you need the sales and you need the dedication to put the time into RFPs and working with all the quotes and all of that stuff is it gets crazy.
Oh yeah, I know. And
Mm.
it's horrible nowadays. It's even worse than it used to be,
Yeah,
the way
I guess.
projects are managed.
Yeah, it's also the area you're in a little bit too. Okay. Well, what's on the horizon for SPS after we try to, double your business with with new marketing efforts? What's your future plan look like?
I mean, I still have quite a few years here, getting my son up to speed, and I don't know if any of the other kids are going to come this way, or but it's to build a strong foundation for whoever takes it over after me.
Yeah. Yeah. Is that maybe your son wants to get into that? Take it over?
Yeah, I mean, let's see if that's something he's interested in and capable of, and you know, one way or another, it'll go on.
Right. Either way. How old is he now?
21.
Okay. All right. Hopefully he works hard and he shows
Yeah,
the
he's been
interest.
here 2.5 years.
Nice. Well, there's going to be the demand for generators, I don't think is going to go away.
Oh
I
no.
think it'll get better.
I think all the few months ago and all the tariff talk and all that scared a lot of people from spending money right now. It's
Yeah.
getting better, but it's like half these people don't even know what a tariff is.
Yeah. Well, in worrying about the additional price hikes on some of these units, I know that the Generac had already increased their prices before tariffs were even in discussed.
Yeah, May 1st they went up.
Yeah, right. Um, but yeah, that's always going to be a factor. The political ends of things will be a factor. But you're always going to have those brownouts. You're always going to have the power outages. It always worries people. Um, it's just a matter of finding that right recipe of, getting in front of people the right way at the right time.
Yeah, I mean, generator is almost a necessity anymore, especially around here. I mean, there's power outages all the time. They might not be long, but still, so many people work from home now, and
Yeah.
you can't lose power. I mean, it's to me, it's as much a necessity as an air conditioner. You don't have to have it, but you know what? It's going to make your life better.
Yeah. If they're more frequent, that's for sure. Yeah. And if it's an old grid and that's something that people know in your area, then, that's something we should get in front of them for that. Yeah. Okay. Oh, well, Scott, I went through all the questions. We kind of got it all dialed in.
Yeah, I'm not a long talker, so
Thank you for listening to Powering Success, future-proofing your generator company. Be sure to subscribe wherever you heard this podcast so you never miss a future episode. For more information or to connect with John, visit him online at www.generatorseo.com. If you found value in today's content, please share with others and leave us a rating and a review. Until next time, this has been Powering Success.